welcome back to the channel. So in this video I want to talk about a bit about social media. So I'm in a Facebook group, and I think it's called beginner photography or something like that. And yesterday I saw a post from a guy that he wanted beginner photographers to shoot JPEG instead of RAW photos. And he had an explanation that as a beginner photographer you should learn your camera and see how you can control your images just by changing the settings on the camera, and that JPEG isn't as forgiving as raw photos is, that you can bring into Lightroom and then recover images that is bad, but you can edit them so they can be okay. So he said, or he wrote that as a beginner you should really learn your camera and thereby shoot JPEGs, because then you can't save a bad photo as easily as you can with raw photos. And I think he has a great point. But the funny thing with this post was the comments, where people was just bashing and said he was wrong. You should always shoot raw, and raw is superior to JPEG, and all of that is correct. But then you miss the whole point of his post, where he just said that as a beginner you should really learn your camera. If you change this setting, what happens, and if you change that setting, what happens. And if you shoot JPEGs, you don't have to worry about editing the photo afterward, because the processing really happens in the camera. So you can just enjoy your photos directly afterwards. So you don't need to do the post processing. And also in the comments there were like, it felt like they were pro photographers that did wedding photos, and they were telling that I wouldn't do a wedding photography by just shooting JPEGs. And I was just thinking, if you are a pro that uses a pro workflow, of course you won't shoot JPEGs. But that wasn't the point of the post in the first place. And if you are a pro, why are you in a beginner photography group on Facebook in the first place? So it was just so funny that this guy did this whole post where he just wanted to encourage beginner photographers to learn your camera. Don't worry about like shooting raw and do post processing, where you need to learn a whole suite of tools just to get a decent image, like Lightroom, Photoshop, Affinity Photos, or whatever. But he got so much hate that he suggested that you should shoot JPEG. But the whole point of the post was that you should learn your camera and try to get as a good image you can in camera, and don't rely on post processing, which I think is a great advice, and that I think most of us photographers should follow, that we should try and get the best image we can straight out of camera, and do some final tweaking in Lightroom or Photoshop or Capture One or whatever software we are using. But I think we can go down a wrong path if we take images and we always have that mindset, I can save it in post. I think if we go that path, I think we might be on the wrong path. because I think we should try and learn our camera that we can take the best image we can in camera by changing our setting in different lighting conditions, different times in the day. Is it a day shoot or night shoot or sunset, sunrise or whatever, but we should always strive to get the image we want in camera and don't rely so much on our post processing tools. So yeah, that's just what I wanted to address in this week's video. That yeah, sometimes I just think social media is I don't know, I sometimes I just get shocks when I read posts and I start reading comments, and how you can just miss the point of the post in the first place, because this guy wasn't talking about professional workflow. He was talking to beginners that maybe just have picked up a camera for the first time and doesn't know what shutter speed does, what aperture does, and what ISO does, and how those things combined can create the image that you are after. It wasn't a JPEG versus RAW post. It was just that by using JPEGs, you don't have to worry about the post-processing workflow. That is a whole other topic and a really big one if you want to be good at editing. So as a beginner, it's great if you can just focus on one thing, and that should be your camera in the first place, because that is where you capture your image. So yeah, that's what I wanted to address today in this video. That yeah, we should just learn our cameras and be able to take the best image we can directly in the camera and not rely so much on the editing software. Even if I really like the editing part of photography, I don't want to take bad images and use the editing software to make an okay image. I want to take a great image with my camera and then make it even greater by adjusting just small details to make it really stand out in the editing software. So that's it for this video, and yeah, hopefully you got some interesting information out of this one, and yeah, I will see you in the next one. Bye.